Assalamu alaikum, students. How are you doing? I hope that you're doing great. Welcome to the next video. It has been almost a very long period of time since I have not uploaded any videos. So in this video, inshallah, I'm going to be explaining the second conditional clause, right? As I've already explained the first conditional sentence, which is actually very easy. So one is left which is third conditional sentence, right? So I will explain it in the next video. So in this video, we will just cover the second conditional clause or second conditional sentence. So let's jump right in. We have the second conditional clause, right? You need to understand how can we use the second conditional sentence. Actually, the second conditional sentence say what would happen if circumstances were different. So typically with the suggestion that they would change, so the possibility in the mean clause is either not a real possibility or we can say is a more remote possibility, simple and easy. So in this example, you will certainly understand, right? Know that the situation that we're talking about is totally different. It won't change, right? It's a kind of unreal condition, right? So here we have an example. If my job were better paid, I would take more interesting holidays. Right now we're talking if it were like this, right? But right now you look, if my job were better paid, right now my job and my salary, it's poorly paid. So I can take more interesting holidays. Or we can say, I cannot afford interesting holidays. I hope it's clarified. Next we have, you wouldn't or you would not be learning English if it weren't a useful language. You wouldn't be learning English if it weren't a useful language. Right now, it's a very important language and we're learning them. For example, we are guessing if it weren't like this. If it weren't like this, we would do like this, right? But the condition we're lying, the condition we are in, it is the same as it is, right? And we cannot change it, right? That's why we call them second conditional sentences. I've already defined it. So the next we have a second conditional would, could, and might. You need to understand in second condition we cannot say will. Will is changed into would. If you talk about the past future. Like we can say as well could, and the next one we have might. Simple and easy, right? We can use could and we can use might, which shows past and real condition. We say you could become proficient in typing if you practiced more. Right now, the person, he has not practiced, right? He has not practiced a lot and he's not proficient or because he's not good at typing. That's why it shows an unreal or we can say a different condition. Simple and easy. And one thing what I would like to say, you can change the position. You can change the position. You can bring the subordinate clause at the very beginning. But one thing more according to punctuation, when the if clause or we can say the subordinate clause come at the very beginning, what do? We just add a comma. That's it, right? And the meaning is not going to be changed. The meaning is going to be similar. The next we have is second conditional was and were. This is another very important key point. You need to understand where is called as well the subjunctive mood, which plays actually a very important role. So we can say, for example, if I were you, I would help everyone. We can say as well, if I was you. If I was you, I would help you. Right now, you need to understand one important key point is the subjunctive mood. You can say as well, if I was you. That's not very common. That is used very informally. So it is better not to use them. You can say were instead of was. Where is very formal, very academic, very good, very common, and I recommend using them. We have example. If you're poor, I would help you. You can say if I was you, right? If I was poor, I would help you. You can say like this, but it's preferably acceptable to use the subjunctive mode were with a be verb, as I've already explained. So the next we have instead of subject plus were plus formal one, where the subject is very possible, right? So next we have instead of if plus subject plus were plus formal one, where plus subject is possible. I'd like to provide you some example and then you will understand them well. So what do I mean by this? When I say, for example, if I were a millionaire, I would build many schools, many libraries. When we say, you can say, right, it's going to be considered inversion, right? We can change the position. We can say, if I were, for example, if I were a doctor, we can say like this, where it comes at the very beginning. Were I a doctor, I would help the poor people for free. If I were the doctor, I would help poor people for free. I would help poor people were I a doctor. Simple and easy. For example, we have, if you are interested in asking any question, you can ask me. We can say the next, should you be interested in asking any question, you can ask me. That's, we call them inversion. Right now here we're discussing where comes the subject is possible, right? Because where is very formal. We not bring again the if clause at the very beginning. We bring the where, and when this formal structure is used, the if is we can say omitted. For example, we say if I had a better paid job, I would take more interesting holidays. We can say like this: had I a better paid job, I would take more interesting holidays. This is used in a very formal structure. Where we can use, instead of where, we can use the if, or instead of if, we can use the had, right? Okay, or we can say, if I had a better paid job, I would take more interesting holidays. Had I a better job, I would take more interesting holidays. Simple and easy. The next we have, you can use were or was plus two infinitive instead of simple past tense in subordinate clause. Subordinate clause means if clause. Simple and easy. This is another structure, this is another form, this is another usages of the second conditional sentence, which is very easy plus very useful, very common, right? So we say, he would look more attractive. He would look more attractive. Instead of simple past tense, we cannot use, we can say the structure were or was plus two infinitive. We can say as well like this. We can say, he would look more attractive if he shaved his beard off. For example, you don't want to use the simple past tense. You can use the structure where or was according to the subject or according to the pronoun, and then we are using the infinitive, to plus infinitive, not infinitive alone. He would look more attractive if he were to shave his beard off. We have another example. We can say, for example, you would look more good if you were to wear your glasses. Simple and easy, we can say. So we have dozens of examples. And one thing more I'd like to say at the very end, in terms of using the second conditional sentence or second conditional clause, we can say the if I were, for example, it can be used in different circumstances, right? We can use them as well for we can say for the piece of advice that we provide for someone. For example, we say, if I were you, if I were you, I would study a lot, right? If I were you, I would exercise for 3 hours every day. So this examples can be used as a piece of advice. So this was today's lesson. I hope you found it very useful. So if you have any sort of question about today's lesson or any other lesson that I have to teach in the future, you can comment below and I will certainly answer, inshallah. So thanks a million for watching.